Right. And the
And
best part
usually,
is that's what people are looking for nowadays is like unscripted dialogue
yeah, it's just happening.
because
It's right there.
everything feels so scripted in this era. So if everything feels scripted, I think the whole live stream thing is an answer to this very contrived existence where everything is so airbrushed and everybody feels like you go on Instagram and everything's just so like it's not real. This isn't a real representation of reality. You don't hear real conversations. People don't even know how to converse anymore. People don't even know how to connect with each other anymore. So this is the answer using the modern technology that has actually caused this problem.
Well put at the end there. The
Yeah.
modern technology that caused this problem, because the all of technology is this, all kinds of communicative technology on the internet really is such a double-edged sword.
Wow. Look at you with your audio change.
I was trying to be slick about it. It must have been pretty bad for you to notice the difference.
Oh, dude, it's a huge difference. You sound like when you're talking on your laptop, it's all yeah.
Oh, I apologize for that, guys. I apologize for that.
No, it's all good. We're ironing it out. That's what this is. Day one. We're getting reps in. This is literally just getting reps.
Good,
That's how
good.
I see this. That's why like I'm saying, bro, every Thursday, 5:30. I don't care if it's like my finals week or whatever, bro. Like every Thursday, 5:30. I don't care what's going on. You need to take an hour for yourself and you need to sit down and do this shit. I don't care if there's a fucking apocalypse outside. Like,
It feels good to prioritize something extracurricular. I know a
yeah.
lot of times we just get stuck on work and life in general. Um, Not enough of us take time to do. I know gym, thankfully, is becoming pretty mainstream. At least in the past, like in the past 50 years, it's something that everyone's naturally just try to incorporate some kind of activity into their life.
Right.
Before that, it was just manual labor at work, and then you get home. That was pretty much it, you know.
But
So
in the era of manual labor where that was the norm, I feel like that was the era where you would come home and you would still connect with your family in an adequate like fashion to where like yeah, you would actually sit at the dinner table with your family, all of you together, and there was no phone, there's no distractions, there's no TV going on in the background, there's no radio, none of that. It's like nah, when we're at the table like we actually need to sit and connect with each other and the side effect of that is you actually the more you do it, the better you get, and you actually learn how to connect with your family better, which is nice. Because same thing, it's a skill like any other. If you don't connect with other people, you freaking lose that skill.
you know what I see less of less now?
But
Have you ever met a kid that acts just like their dad or like their grandpa? That they got the same mannerisms, the way they talk. Apparently, I don't know if you've seen that video where this guy, just this little kid at a park or some kind of theme park, and he's being interviewed, and he just keeps throwing in that word, and you could definitely tell that it's something that
oh yeah, yeah,
is
yeah, dude, that kid cracked me up, bro. I remember seeing
apparently.
him.
It's definitely the way he talks. It's something
It's
that
very adult
most
like.
likely is his dad or his grandpa, and that happens because he's there socializing. He's there learning social cues and how to behave, how to be a little gentleman in a way that kids now don't have. In fact, like what's being promoted now on social media is arguably not gentlemanly at all. Uh, the best form of connectivity that we have being the internet. In some states and countries, whatever, it's just seems like the algorithm is pushing what gives us a cheap dopamine rush versus what actually gives us tools to succeed and be healthy for ourselves and also for the people around us. It's a
Now,
shame.
that's a question though. Are we the ones that are programming that algorithm by selecting for the things that are most rewarding, or is it that the algorithm has been created to push those things? Because part of me wonders
It's
if
both.
okay, so they're obviously creating with Google, they're making their own AI that's essentially trying to map the human behavior. Like it's basically mapping our mannerisms from the internet onto this artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So if they're
This
able to program that, then I don't know if like in terms of how the algorithm works when it's pushing certain Instagram content, like if it's us that are selecting for it and then building that algorithm, or if it is the company that's like, all right, let's push this set of very like shock value content. Because okay, based on human psychology, humans are negatively biased because we care about things that are going to be more pertinent to our survival. So we're going to pay more attention to negative stuff. Like the news, the only reason the news has been around so long is because pretty much the news is pushing all of like this doom and gloom, and it's basically talking about every single like all the worst stuff that's happening across the world, when realistically it's like, dude, that's like, bro, that's like maybe 0.5% of what's even happening in the world, and the world's actually like super chill. And it's just like finding the worst possible things to talk about, because that's what humans will pay attention to. Because oh, my negativity bias, I gotta survive. If something's going bad, this is where my attention needs to go. Oh, and then you do that day after day after day, bro. And if you're living in this like dopamine saturated era, and like the only thing that can bring you out of your stupor is essentially something that's got that negative bias, like shock value, because you're just overloaded all day every day with all this stimulus. The only thing that can actually catch your attention is this like negatively biased shock value stuff. Like, dude, yeah, that's probably what they're going to push out there. So I don't know, is it the chicken or the egg, bro? Are we creating the algorithm, or is the company knowing human psychology doing it for us? Or is it both?
I think it's both. I think we have weaknesses, we have tendencies that they can exploit for ad revenue, for viewership, consistent traffic on their platforms. We crave, as you said, shock value. Sometimes we crave instant pleasures, and it's not edifying. And we know better. There's plenty of psychology, there's plenty of science on the detrimental effects of exposing yourself to a lot of the mind numbing entertainment versus educating yourself on how to improve your control on yourself and your environment. The more they keep you numbed, the more you become dependent on their platforms to stay numb in order to not feel depression, anxiety. Ironically, those are the same symptoms that you're probably getting because of using certain platforms. Rather than edifying them and promoting positive hobbies, role models, to allow these people to improve themselves and improve their environment. But here's the thing, if they taught everybody how to be a better person, how to better handle their emotions, how to better be a productive member of society, improve society as a whole, they would probably stop using those platforms.
I think
Other than,
before that can happen, we need to teach people to think for themselves. Because right now we're not being taught how to think for ourselves. And if we see the entire large herd and the entire group all doing the same exact thing, which is going for that short-term gratification, um and you're not seeing anything else. It's called the fall of ideals. All of the ideals that once made humanity like have something to look forward to, something to look up to, are gone. I mean, that's the death of religion. That's part of it, essentially, in modern culture. Um, but essentially, before any of that improvement can happen, we have to get people to start asking questions, like as to why do I feel anxious? Why do I feel depressed? Instead of like getting caught in the loop of trying to fix these symptoms that they're having with consistent stimulation. Because if you're not asking why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling, okay, maybe you are asking, but you're looking in all the wrong places because you don't have any other alternative being suggested to you by the culture at large. Like if there's no ideal around you, there's nothing to look up to, and the only thing you're seeing, if all the ideals have been destroyed, and the only thing you're seeing is, oh well, my only option is, well, I need to watch porn and masturbate and do all like take drugs, do alcohol. I need to take a Xanny, smoke some marijuana so I can numb myself. Like if that if that is the only out that you're seeing and that you're being provided with, it's like, dude, yeah, nobody's gonna ask questions because they're gonna get so numb. So then I think the step before getting people to that wholesome place that you just described is getting them to the state of like asking questions and doing the deep digging. And to get to that stage, bro, you got to break out of the loop. And to break out of the loop, you got to be so damn unhappy after you've asked enough questions and you're going to say, fuck this system. And then you're going to make a difference in your mentality. It's like, dude, you get fed up with the unhappiness because you're tired of living that way.
Unfortunately, the self-awareness that you need, exactly what you explained, the self-awareness that you need, once you've been numbed prior to exercising self-awareness, you fail to recognize the triggers, you fail to recognize the pathways of your behaviors, especially if you're taking drugs or like you said, doing alcohol, uh, or even on social media, which I'm sure if you tried quitting Instagram after being an addict, you have withdrawals. And I think being able to quit something is one of the best ways to recognize and have self awareness. I don't want anyone or wish anyone to be addicted to anything, but recognizing that feeling of craving and going back to the EEG headset, it's almost like you could feel the thought, right? It's so strong, it overpowers your body. I gotta check Instagram. You might not think it like that, but like you start making excuses. I'm just gonna look at my DMs real quick. Like I won't even scroll. Next thing you know, you're on the reels for 30 minutes, an hour. But if you don't recognize or have the self-awareness to pick up on that trigger, that pathway to that behavior, then it's pretty easy to stay numb. Because all you know at that point is, I don't feel good. Huh, I feel good. I'm scrolling. That's it. That's like as simple as it can be. I don't feel good. Huh, I feel good. That's
Right.
it. It's and you just numb yourself without recognizing, wait, why don't I feel good? Pause. Let me figure this out. Why don't I feel good? Oh, it's that issue. Can I do something about it? Maybe I can't solve it today, but maybe I can get started on solving it. And if you do that and you actually work towards long-term goals versus the short-term dopamine satisfaction that you're just using to numb yourself, you start activating this other addictive chemical being serotonin. And you start to crave long-term accomplishments. You don't get that on social media. You don't get that on a lot of the things on the internet, that and video games, whatever. Actually, you might get that on video games because you could like build your character like Skyrim, and you've been doing this for a whole year. But I don't think it's. I don't. I want to build your character, not your Skyrim character. I want to help people build their own character. Start
Right.
putting tears in their trees.
Level up in real life.
Level up.
Isn't
That's
that
what you
weird,
need.
bro? Like video games are built around like the human desire to self-advancement. Like that's such a successful model. Like humans inherently, it seems like why those video games get so much replay value is because it's like there's something in us that isn't happy with settling where we currently are, and it's like an intrinsic drive for the human psyche to want to desire something better and to reach for something that's like leveling up essentially. So I have this set of skills that I've been born into this world with, this set of biological natural tendencies that make me more well built for certain tasks. Like, dude, if that's the case and I've chosen this class, or let's say I haven't chosen this class due to my genetic predisposition, well, why the hell don't I level that shit up? Like, why don't I develop myself in that set of skills instead of doing it virtually on a video game? It's like but dude, that tells you a lot. Like video games that successfully like get a person to feel like they're advancing do really well. Like that, a lot of video games are based around that. So I think it says a lot about human psyche with how we design video games.
This is almost full circle too with talking about the algorithms and what's promoted and why it's promoted. It's a circular loop of this is how we're wired, so we want and seek that kind of attention or that kind of achievement. So that's what they're going to put into the game or into the platform because it's what we naturally are wired to want. And then the platform gets popular, and the platform, the video game, as you were saying, gets popular, gets a lot of sales, has a long life because people are wired to play it and to level up, and it just keeps going. But rather than putting your quarters into the game of some developer or some app or drug, right? And
Right.
playing that game, realize that you could take that quarter and put it wherever you want. You can invest and level up every part of your life. I understand that there's genetics. I understand that there are certain things that you might be limited to physically or something. I understand that there's cultures. I understand that there's different, like in video games, that there's different classes, right? You got the tank build, you got the assassin build. One of them might be lighter and faster, the other one's slower but stronger. I understand that we all have limitations set on us, but don't let it be a blinder. Don't let yourself just stay stagnant and just be unwilling to improve, because you need to realize that you have a whole tree of skills that you can grow rather than just staying with what you were born with, what you were born into.
Those limitations and those differences are exactly why we party up in video games. And this is exactly why in real life, what do? We essentially party up and we get with other people who can complement our skill set and who can help us grow where we are deficient. I think that's the ultimate reason we have relationships in this world, because obviously you are limited to your perspective. So combining your perspective with somebody else's, as in like, let's say you have a significant other, that's why those relationships are so important, because they help you see where you might be blind. But also, like in terms of friendships, being able to talk about your perspectives and essentially partying up with somebody else who has a different class or a different set of experiences, like, dude, that's where it's at, bro, because like we're all deficient in something. And I think in some this is why differences are a good thing, because when everybody starts thinking the same, that's when human relationships aren't so great anymore. If you get all this group think and all this same, like, I believe this and I only listen to people who believe this same exact thing, dude, that blows, bro. That's not a relationship. That's an echo chamber. Nobody wants that. People want it, but it's not actually helping them grow as a human being. So
I think going
partying
back
up is
to
hits.
how we're wired and relating it to what you just said, parting up, grouping up, making a team, right? And that is, as cliche as it sounds, when you're in a relationship, you are a team. When you're at work or in a literal sports team, you're a team, and
Right.
and that's exactly what you do. You use each other's strengths to complement the other person's weaknesses, and you use each other's same objective to reach your goals, and you do that together, one by one, helping each other push and pull to get there. And what you said about the echo chamber, the reason why we crave that too, and we're wired to do what they say and say what they do, is because primordially primally
Primally, the primal urge.
we want to fit in. We want to make sure that our pack accepts us. We don't want to end up an outcast. There's a lot of social pressure for that. I think the feeling of awkwardness is super underrated because it's essentially your body's antenna that picks up on whether or not the social situation is cohesive or not.
Social connection is associated with serotonin. You know, Peterson talks about the lobsters.
Yes.
Right. So the lobsters that are well connected, that are essentially good in their social circle, that have good hierarchical standing, end up having higher levels of serotonin, so they stand taller and have better posture. Humans do that too, actually, and that's why he talks about lobsters. It's because humans do that too.
Yeah.
Um, so when we are deeply aware of what our social standing is, we are very hierarchical creatures. Like, we know rank and status. It's not something that we discuss openly, but it's something that, like, it's there. It's totally there. And it's like, yeah, dude, that's a primordial thing. For sure. And why is that there? I mean, I would say it's because it's like it's part of the need to survive, in the sense that if we went to a hunter gatherer type of situation, and if I did not have a hierarchy in place with somebody to essentially, like, a father figure to look up to teach me how to hunt, to teach me how to do what I need to do to survive, like, I'm not going to do so great. And I need to know where I stand amongst my other fellow survivors, essentially, because, dude, without that, like, you can't, we wouldn't have been able to survive alone in the wild, in this very tough world. Like, if you look at the modern era, we're so cushy and everything that we have, we don't really have to fight the elements anymore. But, like, back then, like, that social connection, that hierarchy was everything to your survival, and you needed to be close to your group members because you relied on everybody. And dude, those connections, the connections that you would form in a small little village, bro, of like 20 people, you would be tight with those people, man. Like you would see those people and you would be like, and say like, hey, how you doing? Okay, bye. Okay, hey, how you doing? Oh, good to see you. Like, you know how it is nowadays, bro. Like, how you doing? How you doing? I'm good. How you doing? I'm good. All right. Never gonna talk to you again. Like, dude, it was not like that. I can promise you, bro. Like, you would need to actually, like, sit down and talk to that person because you depended on that person for survival. So the bonds you would build, dude, quality bonds.
Do you think it's possible to go back to our roots in a healthy way versus being having our roots being taken advantage of in a profitable way?
I It's going to be interesting to see what happens in terms of, like, are we going to essentially merge with some kind of advanced computer technology and let go of our roots? Because it looks like the human race, at least the people at the top, are trying to push for, essentially transcending what a human is through technology. So at our root, that desire for connection, that kind of suggests that we're imperfect, because it suggests that at our core we feel like we're not enough, that we're missing out on something. Why else would you reach for something else? Why else would you reach for connection if you felt like you were already complete? Right? So our overlords, in a sense, are looking to essentially transcend and get rid of all these primordial very like early things that we need for survival, and like it's going to be interesting to see what happens there, bro. um I think hanging on to it, and it's honestly, I think it's a fight to be human. I think that's what the future is going to be. Not to get like super far out there, bro, but like I think there's going to be a split. There's going to be a split between people who desire to be human and people who want to merge with this AI consciousness. And me personally, bro, the more I see technology advance, the more I want to escape into the woods and learn how to hunt, learn how to fish, learn how to live off of the land, because I feel more wholesome. I feel like I hit flow state better. I feel like I hit flow state better when I'm just out there walking, like in nature. It's such a it's such an easy way to get lost in like the gratitude of it all, to feel how insignificant you are and to be in a sense thankful for it, the fact that you're here.
Connecting with what we used to do to survive, being human, maintaining great connections with people, genuine connections with people. I think you're right. They're going to make that seem alien. And I say they, just it's an abject term, like they, the culture, what's being promoted. It's going to be less normal to want to do what we've always done for thousands of years, um, at the most basic nature. And it's going to be promoted instead to integrate with the technologies of our future. And that might be figurative, like on like how we have already done for the past 20 years using the internet, using computers. It might be literal, with technologies such as Neuralink, which is not the first time that we've put technology inside of our bodies. Um, Obviously, you have things like pacemakers or prosthetics, which are great, but it's arguably one of the most integrated ways to connect your biological self with technological appliances in our environment. And that's going to be probably as essential to the productive society as our phones are today at some point, I think. I think it's not just going to be fringe, um, medical cases where someone who is unfortunate enough to have some kind of paralytic diagnosis and they need to use Neuralink to connect to quality of life devices in their home. I think it's going to be something that you need in order to be productive in the workplace. I think it's going to start with virtual reality, the VR headsets. I think the way we've gone so remote, it's not impossible to see everyone using VR as a necessary means of being productive in the workplace, and eventually maybe something like Neuralink or something adjacent to that being really essential. Um, and I'm not sure I'm ready for that, because I could already see the double-edged sword of the technology we have today and how useful it is, but also how dangerous it can be to the psychological well-being of our society. And I'm not sure how to feel. It's very sci-fi. It's very exciting to think of those kind of tech, but seeing the trend that we are on now, I, I, it's going to be taken advantage of.
Yeah. And we're still monkeys, in some sense. We're still monkeys. Um, you see it?
Yeah,
We're still
he's
monkeys.
he's getting me and him look at the same right now.
Yeah, you kind of do. No. But I'm thinking the more advanced technology is, the more abilities the individuals in power will have to essentially control the masses because of the quick dissemination of information. The faster we're able to get information out to the public, the faster we are able to essentially push the same narrative, the faster we're able to get a totalitarian government and a totalitarian set of beliefs in place that the entire public kind of eats up. That's what technology is. It's bandwidth, bro. So we're increasing the bandwidth. And in doing that, we get more material faster to more people. And if all of these people are essentially eating from the same dish at a faster rate, yeah. So that part's interesting. I am I a proponent of it? Probably not. I'm probably very obviously not a proponent of technological advancement. In fact, I'm thinking I'm not going to go full Unabomber here, but like I think that guy had a crazy manifesto. I think he was like talking about like setting humanity back to like I forget it. He like wrote this whole crazy manifesto, but me personally, bro, I think moving back to simplicity. Like it looks to me that we can't handle this much information. I don't think the human mind was built to handle news from all around the world all in the next 5 minutes with all the worst things that are happening. Like, look at what that does to mental health. I don't think that's what the human mind is built for. Like, you're probably, I feel like we're more meant to have a local community where we can kind of understand our environment a little bit better within what's going on with a closer, more immediate circle. So, am I a proponent of technological advancement? Huh.
Definitely not. From what you're telling me,
It sure doesn't
it
seem
has
like
it has its pros, and that's why it's so easy to promote. That the pros, the positive side of technology, is undeniable. We are using it and taking advantage of it right now, you
right.
and I. So how hypocritical is it of
You're
us is
you're
it to
in my
say
room with me right now, but you're like a
I'm not?
hundred plus miles away.
I'm not. I know.
That's weird, bro.
We can make. You were saying, having your community and connecting with people in your vicinity. Like technology allows you to do that with people around the world. So obviously, it has incredible benefit. But what needs to happen is having the self awareness, I think, to use that positive side versus being run over by the negative side of it, or else we're doomed. Really, we're doomed to do as we're instructed
Do as you're
in
told.
order, and because again, it goes back to the primal urge to fit in and to um, survive based on what the society deems to be the norm. So
And then you get the bystander
using,
effect.
yeah, true, true. But using things like meditation to bring yourself back to a state of awareness for yourself, I think is dangerous um, to those that would like to control the masses because it allows you to reach an enlightenment on your own without anything else, just exercise of your mind, whether you believe in the spirit or not. I mean, you're connecting with something, whether you want to be, if you like to take a purely scientific approach, you are exercising your mind in order to gain better control over it. And the more control you have over your mind, inevitably, the better you react to your surroundings and your future, even your past. It keeps you here today, and it gives you control of what you want to do with that time, more so than any technology could do. Technology is great for educating, for communicating, and so many other things. It's again, I totally understand why it's pushed, but at the rate we're advancing, it almost seems like it can be more of a con than a pro if we don't take control and have the self-awareness to use it for its good, not evil.
So we have to control technology, not have technology control us. And
Yeah.
so, with its high addictive potential, we're going to look back on this like maybe 30, 40 years from now. And I always think this, bro. Much like we thought cigarettes were okay and good for you, we're going to look at technological usage and laugh at how we were using our smartphones. Just like we laughed at cigarettes now. Like, we're like, bro, I can't believe we said that that was healthy. We're going to look at phone usage in like 34 years and be like, damn, we were really messing our brains up.
I hope you're right. I hope we, as a society, wake up to the downsides of the technology we've integrated into the hands of children as young as 2, 3 years old with their tablets, and how it's caused their brains to develop differently than someone that was just learning how to cook in the kitchen with their mom, or playing sports with their siblings, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I think we've definitely went from casual to very pensive thoughts here about the future and the present with technology. But I'd like to say that the positive side of all this is that, like, here we are using technology for the better, and we do have some self-awareness. I think everyone in this world, as much as I made it sound like it's something that it's hard to attain and they're going to distract you so you can never see it, we've all got self-awareness. We might not just all have the practice to be able to listen to ourselves sometimes, you know, listen to our cravings, listens to our short-term versus our long-term desires, and to actually do what's best productively with that. We all have self-awareness. I think the moment you probably turn 3 years old and you realize that your friend is still behind his hands when he's doing peekaboo, and you gain some kind of spatial awareness, I think from that moment you already are realizing how you take, and you have some kind of self-awareness. um, at that point it might be more social though, because you just cry because that's how you communicate. But as we get older, thankfully, we don't use crying as our main form of getting what we want. We have better ways to do that. And I hope that we can continue to learn new ways with each other and share that with anyone who wants to listen, because it's important.
Mindset is everything, bro.
Amen.
And if you control the mind, you can literally, dude, theories of personality change are huge. Like, the thoughts that you think every single day end up forming your personality. If you learn to control your mind and you target the thoughts that you're thinking and aim them towards, damn, dude, today's a great freaking day. I'm going to get up. I'm going to get after it. I'm going to absolutely crush every single thing on my to-do list today, day after day after day. If you keep doing that, you're going to develop a personality type that is extremely high in positive emotion and extremely able to get shit done. Like, you're going to be one of those people. And that's kind of cool. Because, like, anybody who is waking up day after day after day feeling like garbage, and they're like repeating those thoughts over and over again, dude, the coolest thing is that person can actually shift that. So mindset is everything. You Personality change is pretty neat. Yeah, I'm down to wrap up, bro. It's casual.
It's good. It feels great.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a few things on my to-do list, speaking of which, including microphone, audio setup to the computer, better webcam. It's gonna take some time, but I'll keep chipping away that to-do list. I have like 5 different to-do lists right now. I used to categorize all my to-do lists in one list, but now I'm kind of making a separate list for each aspect of my life that I want to attack that day.
Yeah.
And then the to-do list, let's say, might just be like 5 to 10 things in each of those categories. But then I have a master list that faces me every day. It's on my phone, right? Just because you can add those little widgets, and that to-do list that's facing me has one thing from each of those lists.
Damn.
It's pretty, I mean, it's not a lot of stuff. Like I might have 5 things on my list. One of them is like assemble the furniture in my apartment that I just got shipped to me. The other one might be schedule a doctor's appointment. But others are even deeper than that. Like meeting up with my boy and doing no podcasts, or reaching new limits on my exercises, or even writing essays and
I would like to welcome our
going
third
over
viewer to the
research.
podcast. Thank you for joining us today.
Sick.
No, we've had various points in the podcast where we've had 3 people. I've been tracking it to see if we can get up to 4.
I bet we haven't.
3 has been the max.
Sick. That's
But
great.
I know that 3 is not my mom. It's some random person out there that's come across our podcast.
Good for you. We appreciate you being here. This is honestly a pilot episode of us figuring out. I love you too. Oh, that was for the viewer. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I thought that was a real genuine moment between us two.
No, bro. It's not
I
for you,
thought that
bro.
there was something going on, but
No, dude.
I guess not.
Dude, love's always there. Bro, you don't need me to tell you, bro. You just know it's there.
Oh, God bless. Well, unfortunately, third viewer, I believe we are wrapping up. We are wrapping up at this point. And I want to thank Daniel here for being so great, for always pushing through and wrapping me into our college plans of doing a podcast. And I mean that in a positive way. When I say wrapping, I don't mean to sound like you're roping me in here. It's you're bringing in the ideas that we both had and trying to bring them into fruition. And I hope that we can really stay committed to it. And I know that as I continue to upgrade our setup,
No hope, bro.
you're going to see a lot of improvement from my end.
We will do it.
Oh, naturally.
There's no hope. We will.
I have faith.
I know we will.
Good.
100%. Every single Thursday, 5:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Be here.
Be here or be...
Be here.
You thought I was going to say that.
Get better. One day at a time. That's all we can do.
Yes, sir.